Hey, what's up, everyone? I just wanted to introduce you to something new I've been working on called the Walter AI, and it is my personal learning system for data careers. Now, instead of giving people a one-size-fits-all course, this system actually learns you back. And what I mean by that is it builds a personalized learning path in data analytics, data science, or data engineering based on who you are and what you want. So, without further ado, let me jump into things. All right. Your first move to access the system is to navigate to my website, WSDAlearning.ai. And once you're here, you're going to go to AI Learning Tools and select WSDA Personalized Learning. Now, once you click on that, you're going to jump to a screen that looks like this here. Now, I've already set up a user, so let me just pop in the credentials. All right. With that, I'm going to click on Login. All right. So once you're logged in, you're going to be presented with this screen here. Now, once you're in here, it doesn't hit you with 20 forms or a billion questions, just three quick main sections about you, learning preferences, and time and goals. So I'm just going to pop in the responses here, what we should call myself, which is Jack in this instance. My current role, I'm just going to say I'm a student at the moment. You could also choose what is relevant to yourself, but in my case, just for this demo, I'm going to say student. Next, it's going to ask, what's your main motivation for learning data? And I'm going to say, get a job. And what tools I have some experience with. So I'll just say, maybe I have some Excel and some Python. Now over to my learning preferences. And how do I prefer to learn? I prefer step-by-step guidance. I could have try first and get help in these other selections, but I'm going to go step-by-step guidance. Next question is, what best describes your current comfort level? And I'm going to say, well, I just know some basics. I'm not exactly starting from scratch, but I'll just pop that in. And the next question is, which path are you most interested in? And like I mentioned, this is data analytics, data engineering, or data science. So I'll say the data analyst path. Finally, my time and goals. How much time per week can I really spend on learning this stuff? I'm going to say about 3 to 5 hours. And where do I want to be in 3 months? I'll say I want to be working in data. So with everything populated, my next step is to click on generate my curriculum here. So at this point, I'm getting my personalized learning path being generated for me. All right, now that my personalized learning path has been generated, I'm taken to my learning dashboard here. The main part I want to focus on here is my learning path and what has been generated for me. So you can see I have a bunch of tracks here, 6 to be exact. And within each track, I have a bunch of lessons that is tailored to me specifically based on the questions I answered in the beginning there. So here I have a SQL track, data cleaning with pandas, introduction to data analysis, data visualization, and all of my paths are progressively presented to me. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the first lesson from my first track, which is Introduction to Relational Databases. Now, once I click on this, what's happening right now is that it has actually generated my lesson on demand by AI. Now, what this means is the context can flex around your skill level and pace while still staying aligned with proven industry training programs, the same ones used by Google, Microsoft, IBM, and even LinkedIn Learning. And here's a fun fact. A lot of the backbone knowledge for these lessons lives inside the vector database, which has been programmed into this. Okay, so here you can see my lesson has been generated, and it is a progressive step-by-step lesson, as I noted in the beginning. And I can step through the lesson, starting with learning objectives, then going into introduction, core concepts, and really helping me understand this particular lesson. Now, this is really cool. Now, down here, I just want to point out with every lesson, not only are you learning, but you get a chance to actually try what you have learned. So let's say in this lesson, I've learned how to compose a SQL statement. I'm just going to grab this same select statement up here and try popping it in over in my Your Turn to Try box here. And I'm going to click on Submit this answer for review. Now, this is a really cool interactive part of this lesson. So again, very much unlike a static PDF that might be presented to you, you have a very interactive experience here and some intelligent feedback, which tells you some pros and cons of what you attempted to do. Now, this is very important with regard to the build of this system. Remember, I mentioned a vector database. You could think of it like this system's memory. Now, in this system, I've stored chunks of world-class learning material, things like the Google Data Analytics Certificate, Microsoft's open source data science curriculum, and my own SQL material, as well as other vetted resources. So all this means is when you click on a lesson, the AI doesn't just hallucinate something random or just go to OpenAI and grab something that has been generated. What it does, it searches my vector database, pulls the most relevant teaching pieces, and then stitches them into a coherent lesson. So instead of an AI with amnesia, you've got a tutor with context. Every lesson feels connected to what came before and what comes next. So let me just jump back to my dashboard here. By the way, you can see you can navigate here on the left, going back to your dashboard or going to the next lesson. You can tell my current lesson right here, and I can go to the next lesson within my track. So I'm going to jump back to my dashboard here. And in my dashboard, I can also see the progress I've been making. I can tell my learner information, my progress, which is the total amount of lessons throughout all the tracks. I can tell how many tracks I have down here and my progress. So far, I've completed just one track, and this is really powerful when it comes to the learning concept. Now, if you're a builder, you'll probably appreciate some of the technologies being used here. So I've used technologies like Streamlit, which handles the interface, LangChain does the orchestration, and Olama with the Mistral model, which generates the lessons, and I'm using ChromaDB for the memory. Now, OpenAI's embeddings are used just to make the database searchable, and that's it. No lesson is actually coming from OpenAI directly. So, why did I build this? Well, I've seen how people struggle with data learning paths. They're either too rigid, too overwhelming, too disconnected from real skills. And this system combines the best of both worlds, the proven structure of world-class training programs and the flexibility of AI that can adapt to you personally. The result is the system that you see in front of you here. So, in closing, if you'd like to try this system, which is currently in beta, or you just want to see more of how it works under the hood, just request access via the form once you go to my website and to that personal learning system link, or just drop me a message here on LinkedIn. Either or, I'd love to hear your feedback. And I hope this system helps you in getting to your goal of becoming a data analyst, data scientist, or data engineer. Peace.